Good morning, children. In today's session, we shall be looking at a very thought-provoking poem in our English Beehive textbook for Standard 9. The title of the poem is No Men Are Foreign, and it's written by James Kirkup. James Falconer Kirkup was an English poet, translator, and travel writer. He wrote over 30 books, including autobiographies, novels, and plays. The poem No Men Are Foreign expresses a very wonderful thought that the whole world is one. All men are same. All men are equal. According to the place on the earth one is born, there's bound to be difference in the appearance, language, and lifestyle. But there's a common element in every human being, and that is love. The poet is advocating a life without barriers and thereby reinforces the concept of universal brotherhood. The poet even wishes to highlight the destructive element of wars and thereby appeals to everyone to end all wars and look upon human beings as a unified entity. Now let's look at the poem in detail. I shall be giving you stanza-wise explanation. So we shall begin with stanza 1. Remember, no men are strange, no country is foreign. Beneath all uniforms, a single body breathes. Like ours, the land our brothers walk upon is earth like this, in which we all shall lie. In the first stanza, the poet is telling us to remember that no man is different or unknown to us, and hence no country is a foreign one. All of us live upon the same earth. In the second line, the word uniforms has got double meaning. On one hand, it could mean the dresses worn by people in different parts of the world. At the same time, it could mean the uniforms of soldiers in different countries. What the poet wishes to tell us is that whatever different kind of dress or uniform we wear, finally it is a human being that is alive and breathing under every dress. The land we walk upon and the earth we live on is equally shared by all of us. And when we die, we are going to be buried under the same earth. When there are so many similarities between human beings in different parts of the world, the poet asks us to think as to why we consider the people in other countries as foreigners, as strangers. Stanza 2. They too, aware of sun and air and water, are fed by peaceful harvests, by war's long winter starved. Their hands are ours, and in their lines we read a labor not different from our own. In this stanza, the poet says that every human being is aware of the bounties of nature. We all receive heat and light from the same sun, breathe in the same air, and use water from the same natural resources. Nature doesn't differentiate between any person living in any corner of the world. The food we eat is provided by fields and trees we plant, and the process is the same everywhere. When there is no war, we all do farming and live a comfortable life and eat things given by nature. In addition, the poet points out that during war and winter, we starve. Here, the poet makes a comparison between wartime and winter, and he says that there are times when the winter is very harsh, which leads to unproductive lands and people face starvation. The same is the case during wartime when there is need for food and people suffer from hunger. And hence, the poet says that both these conditions could lead to ultimate destruction. All the human beings suffer and enjoy in the same manner. They too have hands, they work like us, and the way they labor is just like we do. Hence, all these similarities pinpoint to the fact that people in all parts of the world are alike. Stanza 3. Remember, they have eyes like ours that wake or sleep, and strength that can be won by love. In every land is common life that all can recognize and understand. In the third stanza, the poet is reminding us that they have eyes like us, wake up and sleep like us, and understand the strength, the emotion love has in all our lives. There are times when strength can be won by love. It is the same for them as it is for you and me. The poet further adds that the kind of life they lead is not different from ours, and we all can recognize this fact. We know that life follows a certain pattern, like there is birth, growth, and life, and eventually death. This is a normal pattern. We know it just as well as the other human beings. Then how can one place on earth be foreign to the other? The poet wonders and makes us think about it. Stanza 4. Let us remember, whenever we are told to hate our brothers, it is ourselves that we shall dispossess, betray, condemn. Remember, we who take arms against each other. Now the poet says that there may be people around us who may incite us, instigate us to develop hatred in our minds against others. They may even try to force us to take the arms and spread violence. However, the poet says that we must never allow ourselves to fall prey to the petty prejudices and begin to hate our brothers. For if we do so, the poet feels that it is ourselves whom we are betraying. We are doing injustice to our own brothers and sisters, and we will be blamed for our actions. We will be responsible for destroying the peace and harmony around us. We are destroying the very essence of peaceful existence, which is detrimental for life itself. Remember, when we take arms, when we follow the path of violence, this is what is going to happen. Stanza 5. It is the human earth that we defile. Our hells of fire and dust outrage the innocence of air. that is everywhere our own. Remember, no men are foreign, and no countries strange. In this concluding stanza, the poet says that when we take arms against each other, we are destroying the earth. We are polluting the earth that is for everyone to live on cordially. Hatred, prejudices, war and killing releases the dirt of our thoughts, words and action into the air we breathe and destroys its purity. It's time therefore that we realize no one is a foreigner to the other. We live in the same space, the earth, and we need to recognize this and learn to live and let live. With the violence of our actions, we should not destroy the beautiful planet that we are in. The world is theirs as much as it is mine and yours. So if I and you can live here, what should prevent them from living here in peace and harmony? The poet thereby concludes the poem by reminding us no men are foreign and no countries are strange, since there are so many commonalities between people, between countries in any part of the world. Now let's move on to analyze the literary and poetic devices used in the poem. Structure of the poem. The poem is divided into 5 stanzas and each of these stanzas has 4 lines. If we try to find the rhyme scheme of the poem, you will realize that there is no specific rhyme scheme that the poet has used. Hence, we can say that this poem is written in free verse. Now let's look at the figures of speech that the poet has employed in the poem. We begin with alliteration, which is repetition of initial consonant sound. In stanza 1, a single body breathes. B sound is repeated. In the same stanza, which we all shall lie, W sound is repeated. In stanza 2, by war's long winter starved, W sound is repeated. Stanza 3, or sleep and strength, S sound is repeated. And in stanza 4, whenever we are told, W sound is repeated. The next figure of speech is metaphor, which implies indirect comparison. In stanza 1, beneath all uniforms. Here, uniform refers to the military of different countries or the clothes worn by people of different countries. Hence, an indirect comparison is made between the dress that we wear and the uniforms of soldiers. In stanza 2, by war's long winter starved. Here, wartime is compared to the winter season. The starvation experienced during unproductive and harsh winter is indirectly compared with that of the hunger faced during wartime. Hence, it's an example of metaphor. The next figure of speech that you find in this poem is repetition, where words are repeated for poetic effect and emphasis. In this poem, the word remember has been repeated 5 times. This repetition has been done to emphasize the serious message the poem wishes to convey. The line, remember, no men are strange, no countries foreign, is repeated in stanza 1 and stanza 5, though the order is reversed. Here again, the repetition emphasizes the core message of the poem, that is, oneness of mankind. Hence, we can say that the poem teaches us a very important value, that the whole world is one. We are citizens of the world. Universal brotherhood and internationalism is a need of the hour. We need to live in harmony with each other, and that is possible only when we have a broader vision of life. With this, we come to the end of our session. I hope all of you have been able to follow the summary and the theme of the poem, understand the usage of the various literary and poetic devices that the poet has used in this poem. Thank you all for watching this video. Meet you soon in my next video.